Hello, hello, and welcome. I am so excited to be here with you today, and I am very grateful for you and for this platform that connects each one of us to new opportunities. And today is Monday, brand new day, brand new beginning. Let's start it afresh. Let's start it energized. Let's start it empowered and create the reality that we set our hearts onto. My name is Jana Masick. I am the host of this LinkedIn Powering Unique You broadcast. And today, as you're joining in, I am happy to see you. I'm happy to see you live. As you're coming in, please say hello. Tell me where you're coming from. Tell me what's going on. Tell me if you're excited or you may be trying to get through. Monday is not your favorite day. Although here in the US, it's a Labor Day and most of the companies celebrating it as a holiday. So maybe you're a little bit chilled out. Maybe you're a little bit, cool and not really stressed as much. I hope so. I welcome you and I'm happy to have you here. Now, today's conversation is going to be fantastic. As you're tuning in, please participate. Please ask your questions. If you find value, which I believe you will, in this episode, I would greatly appreciate if you share it with your community as well. And today's guest is a very interesting person. She is a unicorn in a way, so she calls herself. At the age of 29, she was absolutely hating where she was in her job, in her career. And she was so miserable that she felt that she needed to take a sabbatical. She needed to take time off. She needed to reinvent herself and recreate her reality. So she took a time off and she took several months and rethought of what her values are. What is that she wants to create in her life? What is that important to her? And it's interesting, and I want to hear your thoughts and your considerations about taking sabbatical. Have you done that before? Have you seen other people doing that? I have not done it, but I've met few people in person that I know that have done that, and they realign their life. They realign their values, and they realigned what is really matter to them and how they can truly love what they're doing and make an impact in their lives. And this amazing lady, she is also been studying, her studies actually as a social scientist. She started as a social scientist and then she turned into a doctor of philosophy. So she has a doctorate. In addition to being so smart, she is very intelligent, very fun, and she's just so full of energy. She's like an energy ball. I'm very sure you're going to love this amazing, fantastic woman. And she's also been featured in many magazines, as well as attending global events in Dubai, in Slovenia, and in Spain, and the United States, and speaking and edutained people on how to build their brands and how to become better, how to become more authentic. So I cannot wait. I just can't wait. Without further ado, I want to introduce and invite here Dr. Natalia Wiechowski. Hello, Natalia.
Hello, Jana. Thank you so much for being here and for this phenomenal introduction. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh my, I am so thrilled to have you here today. This is going to be so much fun. And as our audience is tuning in, I just want to compliment you and thank you for taking your time today and joining us to have a phenomenal conversation, to tell us about all of your wisdom and what you have learned. And our conversation today is all around personal brand. right? It is all about how can we all build together this empowering, this impressive, impeccable power, personal brand, specifically here on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do that. Let's talk about it.
Fantastic. And we have Henry joining in. Hello, Henry. So excited to have you here. As you're joining in, tell us where you're from. Tell us about yourself. And we're so thrilled to have you here live. Team Live is my favorite team, although I love Team Replay as well so much. Now, Natalia mentioned that you have arrived into this after taking your studies, after getting a great education, after building your career. At some point, you felt that it was not what it meant to be for you, and you've taken time off, and you've taken the time to really study yourself, to really look inside and created something beautiful. So maybe give us a little bit of insights of what that internal journey looked like to you and how it's tied to personal branding.
So as you mentioned, I decided to give myself with a sabbatical at the age of 29 because I had, in my perception, done everything that I should have done or people expected me to do in order to live a happy and successful life. And on paper, it looked phenomenal. I mean, people definitely perceived me as successful and they also perceived me as happy. But when I looked myself into the eyes in the mirror, it's like, you're not happy and you're not successful. But I didn't know what success meant to me. I didn't even have the idea that success and happiness were very individual concepts, and that what advertising and religion and politics and our parents and what kind of other systems that are there to guide us, to support us, what they suggested was an idea, but not the ultimate idea. So yeah, I realized at a certain stage, I don't want to live and work like this. It doesn't make sense. I was continuously sick. And I talked to a few friends, and I really, for me, the word surrender is a very challenging word because I think a lot of people misunderstand it. But I think a part of me kind of surrendered to something bigger. And I said, I don't know. I just, this is the end. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to work like this. Something up there, whoever you are, if you are, guide me, because apparently I'm just stupid. I just don't get it. And slowly but surely, there were these coincidences in my life that really questioned everything that I knew or thought I knew. And I realized that I really need to go on a journey on the inside, because I do believe if you want to build a personal brand, a strong personal brand that is going out, that is giving, that is inspiring, that is helping other people, that stands on stages, you need to have substance and you need to be strong, because there will be haters, there will be critics and whatever. And when you haven't done your homework, your self-work, then it can be incredibly tough. So I realized, okay, you know what? Fine. I'll have a look inside, and I worked on things like my diet, my language, my belief system. I worked with therapists and healers on my past. I worked in my future, and I literally asked myself, what is it that I want to do? And so I created a list with all the things that I thought were cool since I was a teenager, and then step by step implemented them and failed myself up to my dream lifestyle and dream career, and understood that it's all in your hand. The dream job doesn't exist unless you create it. Your dream life isn't something that one day knocks at your door. It's like, hey, you need to work yourself up there. And I think that building, designing a deeply, like a profound personal brand from the inside out, from offline to online, is something that will get you very far in life.
You have pointed something that is very deep, and I agree with you that many times most people are looking for this happiness from outside. They're looking for conformity, and what you said is exactly portraying that is as per society or some other people's expectations, everything was fantastic. You were like looking awesome on paper. Yet internal development, the internal, that empowerment, that knowing who you truly are, and in addition, building what is that perfect success look like to you? What does it look like to you to be happy, to be fulfilled, to enjoy what you're doing? It is may sound as a little bit of scary, especially I think for people that may be struggling financially and they're saying, well, I can't just go off and, and try to build whatever this beautiful success look like to me. I'm trying to struggle and survive with paying off, the bills, paying, putting food on the table. No. Although I do feel strongly that each one of us can take that ownership, and it doesn't happen overnight. And in your case, it takes time. It takes time, and it takes, this searching, I feel almost like a spirit to find who you are, what do you want to do, and how does it look like to you to be truly happy. And I love that you also said from offline into online, because there's so many people out there online are trying to show off with our personal branding. Look at this, look at that, look at me. But yet they may be really struggling in their real life. So I do feel that when you build it offline and you come as who you truly are, and that's we touched on the authenticity right before we got into live, that really becomes powerful. And why is it that way? What do you think? Why is it that way?
Because I believe we human beings are social beings, and I do believe we have something like a soul or a spirit or an inner voice, or however you want to call it, stardust, something on the inside that is here on this planet to express itself, to make the most out of this life. I don't know what's going to happen after that, or if there is an after that. That's pretty much social proof there is something after that, but that's not the topic of today. Yes. So we are here to express ourselves, to explore, to grow, to have fun. And unfortunately, we know that only as kids, and then something happens around the age of kindergarten, and all of that just disappears. And there is a part of us who unlearns that and comes back to this curious child while being an adult, and still sees the magic in the world and in life. And then there are people who get stuck in this kind of negative spiral of, as you said, conformity, doing what other people should do. And for some people that works, but for a lot it doesn't, especially the longer you are in it. So people who break out of this invisible prison that we very often create, or that I'd say that we create in our minds, are inspiring. They're different. They're high on energy. They are crazy, aka unnormal, which means, because if the masses are just zombies, of course, those who work on themselves, who are more positive, who are more colorful, are crazy. But I would see that as a compliment. And every different crazy person has the opportunity to wake up or shake up another individual. And I believe that this is what we need. We need more people who, as you said, take responsibility for their life and say, okay, well, it's not how I want it to be, but there's nobody else to blame but me. Fine, I forgive myself. And then work on designing the life that you want. And you don't need to do that on your own. There are psychologists, there are therapists, there are experts, there are consultants, there are coaches. Find the one that you resonate with, and again, surrender towards help. You like when you ask somebody for help, you're not weak. You understood that you're worth it. This is how it is.
I love this, that understanding of your worth and believing that what you have allowed to happen in your life previously does not necessarily define of what you can create going in the future. So forgiving yourself and saying, now I'm at this point, I am not quite thrilled or happy or excited about what I've, allowed to happen, me to just allow into my life. Now I want to take control, and now I want to reshape my future. And it relates to all aspects of life. And I believe career is just one part of it. Like you said, you just exercised before we got on. It relates in taking care of your mental health, taking care of your wellness physically, taking care of your spiritual health. We are here. I believe each one of us have a mission on this earth. And like you said, if we tap into that mission, if we find that can be really, truly inspiring. I love this, Natalia. We have more people joining. Arlene is saying, good morning. So happy to have you here. And Henry is saying, we are hardwired to connect and engage with each other. That's what made us so successful as species through the age. The bond we make incredibly strong and resourceful when we are together. I agree.
Yep.
I agree with you, Henry. So
more collaboration, less competition, please.
Yes to that. Yes to that. More collaboration across all lines of life. Less criticism, more compliments. I think overall as a society, if we start complimenting ourselves and others more often, we can truly elevate together, right?
For sure.
And it's just so like most of the time people focus on negative criticism, tearing each other down. Gosh, so sad. But we're here to elevate, we're here to uplift, we're here to encourage, and we want to deliver value. So personal branding, Natalia, what are the benefits? How about benefits of personal branding? What does it look like?
Well, there are quite a few different angles, but I think the most important one is that you get the reins of leadership back into your hand, because if you don't work on your personal brand, then you automatically allow others to define you. And some people might have opinions about you, or they didn't give you the time to understand who you are and what you do. So it's basically a copy of a copy of a copy. You know what happens? It gets more and more away from the original. And then, how people talk about you and see you might be so far away from your goals. And that's a problem. So it's about taking ownership and making sure that what you want to achieve in life and in business is definitely aligned with your mission and goals. So that is the benefit. So you're not a passive victim of the opinions of others. You are the leader. Another benefit is that it depends on if you work for somebody or if you have your own business. When you work for somebody, you will definitely earn more money. There are numerous studies that say it's approximately 10%. There are some studies that say it's up to 25% more, which I think is crazy. If you have your own business and you position yourself as a thought leader, as the go-to expert, as somebody who's amazing in that niche, you can ask for higher prices than your competition, which I think is pretty awesome, because of course we're here to have fun and to help others, but we're also here to make money, because that's part of the society that we've built. Another benefit is that you're going to have or build a beautiful, diverse network. And as we just learned from Henry, or as Henry mentioned, the power lies in connections. So with the right people, and with the right individuals in your network, you can collaborate, create even more opportunities for other people, for us as a society, for your customers, for your family, and meet beautiful people who turn to friends, mentors, clients, whatever, partner, right? You never know. And so network is definitely another thing. Your visibility and potential impact definitely also increases. And what you do with that is totally up to you. Do you do it to do more good because you inspire and empower more people? Fantastic. Do you do it to generate even more leads and do more business? Fantastic. Do you do it to become sort of an influencer and maybe collaborate with certain brands and through that get a slightly different lifestyle, get invited to VIP events maybe, or are the first person who tests certain products or technologies? I think there's some charm to that as well. So there are multiple benefits, but I believe that clarity for yourself is incredibly important. And this is something you need in your life. And when you have that, then other people and the universe or the world will also respond to you in a total different way, because you kind of dictate is the wrong word. You kind of vibrate, or you kind of communicate. This is who I am. This is what I want. And, let's see what happens, what kind of music or vibration you get back. And I highly believe that the clearer you are and the more specialized you are and the more you are, the more you get served exactly that.
I absolutely in love with this, Natalia. You started off that no matter whether you are working for someone and you're in a corporate role, or you are on your own, you're building your own thing, your own business, your own consulting, whatever it may be, the personal branding of starting from clarity and then building upon that with all the benefits that you so beautifully outlined for us right this now is truly can make I almost feel like exponential acceleration rate, right? Because and I've heard it from someone, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. And gaining clarity and being authentically you and knowing what is that you want to achieve in life exactly attracts that people that you need to meet. Like you said, you had some coincidences, right? Coincidences are not just happen. They are there because you were meant to be in that line. And if you gain that clarity, then people's going to come your way, and opportunity is going to come your way, then those collaborations going to come your way. And I can say that I can testify to that is true, because when I started this show, and I started the show exactly on the eve, so to speak, of 2020, I had no idea what's going to happen. I just said, I have a dream and I'm going to go for it. I have no idea how to figure out. I have no idea how to manage that, but I'm going to take steps and I'm going to come into being. And I only dreamed to have a fantastic guest like you on my show at that time. Now it is a reality. And I'm so honored, Natalia. And I can truly say, if you gain clarity, then people that you admire come into your life and become friends, become mentors. You collaborate and create partnerships. And I could say I've had a lady from a well-known company reaching to me over the weekend saying that she has 2 jobs and she would like me to refer some people to her. And that came out of nowhere. So I'm just amazed at what is coming your way when you start putting yourself and when you start creating what you're truly passionate about. It is true. And I want to encourage you as a listener, as a viewer, to try it for yourself. It doesn't happen overnight. It is not an instant. It is a journey. But once you set to yourself and you embark on that journey, you watch out what's going to happen. You're going to be so amazed. So I'm just so excited because what you're saying is truly resonates with me, Natalia. I absolutely agree with you on all of those points.
Awesome.
Fantastic. And we have Sandra Clary saying, good morning, Jana. Good evening, Natalia. Yes, personal branding is both reflective of and impactful to the mission of one's whole self. I couldn't have said it better than that. And Henry saying, hello, Sandra. Sandra saying, hello, Henry. So excited to have all the people around. Everybody's cheering themselves. Natalia, what do you think about LinkedIn and why are we building personal brand on LinkedIn, not on Facebook, not on Instagram, although those platforms have their space or place? Why LinkedIn?
As you said, so that's something that everybody needs to decide for themselves. I always ask myself, what kind of social media platform do I like and resonate with? Because there are some social media platforms where I know my clients are on it, they use it, and they use it on a daily basis. I just generally dislike the vibe or the communication culture, which is almost already an insult towards the platform. So I'm like, okay, that one I'm not using. So first of all, what's the social media platform that you resonate with the most? Because if you open it and you want to throw up every day just by opening it, most probably you don't use it. The second big important question is, what what's the platform where your clients are? And especially during these crazy times where the majority of us now sit at home and there's no international conferences, whatever, when it comes to business, we naturally just pivot towards LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the biggest international business / networking platform out there.
Yes.
And every 2 seconds, most probably by now, it's more, but I think no, every second, I think 2 new users sign up. That's a metric or a stat that I know from last year. It would be interesting to know how it changed this year. It is a tool that allows you to build a network of up to 30,000 connections, and no other social media platform has that. I mean, on Facebook, you can have 5,000 friends, but it doesn't have this phenomenal filter function like LinkedIn has. Another reason is the organic growth. So if you're a content creator, you still get a lot of reach and visibility for your content. While on other platforms like Facebook or Instagram, for me, it feels like pay to play. Whenever I post something, it's like, and gone. Nobody has seen it. Damn. So that's another reason for LinkedIn. Also, when you look at the user numbers, because a lot of people say, oh, yeah, Facebook is dying. It's all about Instagram. The average Instagram user is the other way around. 72% of all Instagram users are teenagers, which is quite interesting. And it makes sense if your business is targeting these people.
Mm-hmm.
But if not, then, have a look at the numbers of Facebook and LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is definitely more diverse. There are definitely more people in their 30s and their 40s and their 50s. Facebook, the way how I understand it, got older and older. So partially also older than LinkedIn. So my target audience is in their late 30s, mid 40s. This is the gap. And for that, LinkedIn is just phenomenal. So these are just some of the reasons why LinkedIn. And if anybody who watches this, of course, is already on LinkedIn, but everybody who still has doubts, give it a try, because it's not a pure B2B platform and it's not a pure job search platform. It's literally there to create content, build your brand, network, learn something on LinkedIn Learning, learn about industry trends, help each other, collaborate. There's so many ways how you can use this platform. It's just that people don't see it or don't think about it.
I have my cat meowing here. Can you believe it? Yes, and this cat is usually outside. He rarely comes in the house. Now, in the middle of our broadcast, he didn't just come into the house, somehow sneaked in, but he comes right into next to me and start meowing.
Yeah, positive vibes. I think he wants a little bit of that good stuff.
I said, what is happening? I fed you this morning, kitty cat. Go lay somewhere on the sofa.
Okay, this is all about authenticity. It's about
so cute.
Being human being.
That is so true. That is so true. Well, I love the reasons you provided. Why LinkedIn? I do agree with you that LinkedIn platform is the platform where there is more. I feel people think about what they post a little bit more. Other platforms, sometimes it's just not quite a lot of thought put into what is being posted. And I agree with you that it may just a lot of negativity. But generally on LinkedIn, it is professionally related. And what I love about it is that you can create meaningful professional connections and you can expand those connections globally, like you said, because so many countries, everybody's available, everybody's participating. I've had connections from Australia, I've had connections from different kind of countries, South America, and now you're in Dubai, I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, across the world, across the ocean, we having conversation today, right, Natalia? Who would have known? And yet I think that there's many benefits, yet people sometimes feel fearful and a little bit more afraid of judgment on LinkedIn, because on Facebook you feel like, oh, you can post, you can put the private kind of setting on it, not too many people can see it. But on LinkedIn you have to almost step up And I've seen many people who are comfortable posting on LinkedIn. And even I look back at myself, I was doing lives on Facebook. I was doing live on Facebook and Instagram. But for LinkedIn, it was almost like another level. You have
Yeah.
to step up another level to be more courageous, because it is tied into your career. It is tied into your professional. That's why people are more thoughtful, and people also are more afraid to truly come who they are, because they think, what if I say something wrong and my boss sees it and it's going to affect my job? Or what if I say something wrong and my client sees it and they think, oh, I don't want to work with you. So those fears and insecurities become like a layer to people, to being able to come in and start posting. And once you break through that layer and those fears and stay, I am who I am. I am not perfect person. I am going to make some kind of mistake or post something that somebody may not like. Yet I am not going to trap myself in this fear and step out and share the articles, the thoughts, maybe something that you just read today that have inspired you, and you share it and it inspires somebody else, something that you learned from your life lesson. And that can truly make a big difference. And if you start consistently posting and consistently participating, commenting on other people's posts, that can truly, make a big difference. And you, that by doing that, can build the brand, and not just brand, but impressive brand. Now, Natalia, I'm really, really want to pick your brain on what impressive brand look like to you, and what can people do to really start working toward that impressive brand. What does it look like to you when you look at somebody's profile and you say, wow, this is impressive brand?
For me, it's closely related to what success means. So what is impressive for me might not be impressive for another person, might not be impressive for you. So some people are impressed when they see that somebody has a picture, stepping into a private jet or into a helicopter, and everything is just so incredibly staged and perfect, like it looks like a Hollywood production. That's what some people perceive as impressive. For me, impressive just means that person has a story to share, that person went through a transformation, that person really found or designed himself, herself, and now went all in on sharing their journey, on serving others, on being there, on enjoying and living a good life. This is what I find impressive. So for me, it's the story is very, very important, and the pivot towards no more BS. It's all about my mission. And then there are, of course, a few things that you can do so people go like, wow. So if you want to go one step further, you can make sure that you get featured in a few prestigious outlets like radio stations and TV shows and podcasts. But you can also go the total other way and, get featured in maybe not so famous podcasts and articles or whatever, and reach a lot of more people, and maybe even make so much more money and help even so many more people. That's something that a lot of people don't understand. I just had this beautiful conversation with my friend Brian, and he said that everybody runs after Forbes and Entrepreneur and Inc. and everybody wants to be there, but there are hundreds of other magazines that give you even more exposure, or that are more specifically targeted towards your industry. And people are like, no, I want that shiny glitter thingy up there. So yeah, I mean, work on your public relations, but don't obsess with it, and look at it from a different perspective. So public relations is important. Your story is important. Clarity. So a clearly structured communication, a message, a positioning is incredibly important for me. And because I'm a very visual person, I think also playing with specific colors and aesthetics is also something that if you really want to make me go like, wow, then show me that you have thought about your design and about the symbols that you use, and that you really stand out, that you use your color. This is something that you might, ask a color consultant plus a graphic designer, or maybe even a stylist, do that all together and then get that out there. That is, that would be the creme de la creme, or the cherry on top of, I don't know, the milkshake.
I love that. Creme de la creme. That is fantastic. It is true. But where do you start with this, Natalia? You've said, okay, those are the aspects that build impressive. And to me, impressive is really authentic, relatable, engaging, right? It's not something just to say, wow, and I'm an awe and I will never reach to that. But to me, impressive is when you look at someone, you say, wow, I'm inspired. How can I be like that, right? How can I become like this person? What can I learn from this person to improve on my own journey? And where do you start with that? What advice would you give to someone that maybe just thinking about starting building personal brand and starting being more active on LinkedIn, starting about, considering what my colors are, what are my mission, what am I standing for? What's the best way to start?
So the best way is to just leave LinkedIn where it is and go a few steps before that and really answer basic questions like, what kind of problems do I solve? For whom? What is the end result? Why should people choose me and not my competition? And how long does it take to get these results? These are the absolute foundations for a clearly positioned personal brand. And when you have that, then we can go back to LinkedIn and start implementing that into different aspects of your profile. But the very first thing is definitely a profile picture. So make sure that you invest in a approachable, impressive profile picture that makes you look professional, whatever that means, which is very, very individual, and it depends on if you're a man or a woman and which culture you come from, which industry you work in, and so many things. But selfies, duck faces, you with the glass of beer, sunglasses, you with your spouse, you with your dog, an emoji version of you, all of that, most probably not so professional. So find this balance between being professional and approachable. And then write in the header everything that I just said about what kind of problems do I solve, for whom, what's the end result, and if you can, even squeeze in your unique value proposition. If you want to go one step further, design a beautiful background picture in which I see you in action in your element, where you can even tell your story a little bit more, and then use the about section to again dig deeper and tell me more about your customers and why I should choose you and what makes you special and what is it that I really get. And at the end of it, use a call to action. And then there's this new section which is called featured. So some people might not have access to it yet. If you don't, then in the about section, you have at the bottom of it, something I think that's called media. So in there, you upload photos, videos, presentations, documents, white papers, whatever it is, that really, really helps me understanding who you are. And it's all about building a relationship. So I always say your LinkedIn profile is not an online CV. It's more like a landing page. And you need to turn it into a source for others. You need to make sure that others spend a lot of time there. It's as if you are a shop window, a beautifully designed shop window. This is like the first part of the LinkedIn profile. And it's so wow that people walk into the store and they touch things, they try things on, they smell things, and ideally they also buy something, or if not, they tell all of their friends about, boy, there's this new store in town. It's so amazing, let's go there. So in order to create this custom experience or this user experience, you really need to serve or offer people something. So give me something that is colorful, interesting. I want to hear you. I want to see you. I want to have a feeling that you're not this abstract stranger, but as you said, somebody I can relate to, somebody I can resonate with, somebody I get inspired, empowered, whatever it is by. Like some people want to make sure that their target audience feels seen, heard, beautiful, understood, empowered, inspired, entertained, edutained, informed. There's so many ways, and it all depends on your brand, your message, and the vibe and feel of what you want to transport. So I think these were the first steps, because I could talk an hour about how to optimize a LinkedIn profile, but I think these are the first steps, and that will make a big difference.
Yes, you've mentioned some things I need to go back and rearrange and re-optimize myself. I love it. This is really, really edutainment session. I love the, entertainment and education part of it paired together, and it's really powerful. So yes, those are the great first few steps. And even if you are in the process, and how I take it, I feel that your LinkedIn page is not static. It grows as you grow, and at some point you rearrange some things, but you always think, because we always grow, right? I hope that each one of us are growing, and we are in this process of development continually. And as I find myself that as I grow, as I develop, I look at some things and I'm like, I want to change this, I want to change that. And what may have resonated with me a year ago is completely different right now. My view have changed, my evaluation of myself have changed, what I want to create have shifted a little bit. So I would tweak some things around as I go. One of my next steps is to add a little bit more media and some more of pictures from my previous jobs. And I need to go through that and do that. It's just you showcase who you are. So like you said, when people come into your shop, they're like, oh, I like this, I want to look at this, and truly feel almost that they know you, almost that they've connected with you already in some type of way. So this is a great example, Natalia. Thank you so much. What advice would you give to our viewers and listeners on how to expand their network, how to expand their connections, how to build, as they're building their brand, also build those connections globally with like-minded people, or maybe with their potential clients? What is the best way to approach people on LinkedIn?
I think in the beginning, it's to understand that you don't need to have 1 million or 300,000 followers. Or if that is your goal, ask yourself why. What kind of people do you want in your network? And why do you want to build that network in the first place? So once again, we live in a perfect world. Let's assume, social experiment, we have a perfect world, and you could connect with anybody, You could have friends, you could have mentors, you could have clients, you could have anybody, right? And compare that with your current network that you have. And then be honest to yourself and see the difference. And then based on that, you allow yourself to be connected with anybody. Cool. It's like, okay, so I want to connect more with, I don't know, fashion designers in Paris. Fine, because that's the kind of people that are either your clients, or you're working on a passion project and you want to interview these people, or you're writing a book and you just want to tap into their knowledge and wisdom. Okay, so you go to LinkedIn's filters and you make sure that you type in fashion designer, and that you choose Paris, and that you also choose to filter second degree, because first degree connections, you are already connected with these people, doesn't make sense. And then what happens is that LinkedIn will give you, like Google, like first, how can I say that? It's like a first search engine results page. So there are results. And, then you can have a look at these profiles. And if you realize, yes, that's a person that I want to connect with, fantastic. Please don't, I repeat, don't hit the connect button, but have a template. Have a template how you approach people. So dear first name, and then build a connection. I'm working on a passion project about fashion designers in Paris at the moment, stumbled over your profile, loved what I saw. Would you like to connect? So you give them the opportunity to say no, so nobody feels offended or whatever, because some people are really up. And then you mention your last name, and it's fine, and play with templates. Figure out what kind of a message really works. But the first thing to avoid is to just connect without a message. And the second thing to avoid is to pitch. It's like, hey, I have this amazing product that will make your fashion shop so much more effective. Shall we book a call? No, you're already annoying now, and I don't want to connect with you. So that's something you don't want to do. And the third thing, I think it's common sense, but I want to mention it anyway. Don't be nasty or hate on people in the contact message, and don't hit on them, because some people are also, this is right, there's this big debate, is LinkedIn Tinder, what is Tinder, and blah, 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 whatever. But I have never heard a story about the beautiful relationship that started with, oh, there was this guy who hit on me in a contact message on LinkedIn. It's like, if you know a story like that, tell me, because I want to tell that story in my LinkedIn life. So be decent and be you in your contact request message. And then, once people connected with you, start having conversations. And the conversation, again, is not buy my stuff in your face. The conversation is, hey, thank you so much for connecting with me. And then it depends on what you want to achieve. Like, do you want to interview them? Then tell them something about your podcast or whatever it is, or your survey or your project. If it is a potential customer, ask them a very diplomatic question about the status quo related to the challenge that they have at the moment. Send a voice note if you want to stand out. Want to stand out even more? Send a personalized video. Nobody does that. And see how that will make a difference. So these are the first steps.
It is so true that this, buy my stuff, I love this. You make me chuckle. You make me laugh so much. I try not to burst into laughs when you're speaking.
Go ahead. Go on.
But it is so true. And I agree with you. Just a few people are using the option on sending audio voice. And the way how you could do that, if you don't know, you can go on your app, LinkedIn app on your phone. And when you're in the messages, there is a plus sign, and then it gives you a way to send a voicemail. You hold the microphone and you record your voicemail and you send it over. And I've used it a couple times, and it was great conversation starter. Not necessarily that I do that my first time when I'm sending introduction to somebody, but once they respond, I would do that, and I would respond with a voicemail. I do need to go up and elevate my game and start doing personalized videos, which I agree with you. Nobody's doing it. I have not seen. Maybe I've seen one or two people over the course that I've been on LinkedIn that are sending some type of personalized video, but it is very rare. So it truly elevates you and cause you to stand out and to say, wow, this person took a thought, the time, and the energy to create something meaningful just for me. And that's already gives a type of value, right? It says, yeah, this is really, this person feels that it's important to connect together. Why don't I give him a little bit of my attention, or her a little bit of my attention? This is good. And it's simple, right? And I believe that when you just randomly connect with people, there is not as much value. But when you focus on what's your goal, and what you want to, what is that you want to achieve, what results you want to get, what problem you want to solve, and then you seek a meaningful connection, just what you described, with a personalized note, with a little bit of explanation, it can make a big difference in people building that relation. Not just have a connection, click on your profile, right? But building more conversation, more opportunities, more collaboration and relationships out of that. This is phenomenal. Natalia, thank you so much. You have so much wisdom. It has been such a fun conversation today. Anything that you want to tell us as we're closing out? Anything that you would like to share with our listeners that can help them build impressive personal brand on LinkedIn?
Yeah, I mean, the next step would be creating content. A lot of people, they want to build this thought leadership person brand or impressive personal brand, and they believe they can do that by just liking, or some people, I mean, at least comment, which is good, or reposting, without mentioning their own thoughts. So, I believe that leaders lead and followers follow. So if you create content, you are a leader. If you consume content, you are a follower. So start with documenting your journey, as Gary Vaynerchuk said. You don't need to produce the next Hollywood movie, and you don't need to start with a 10 minutes video, and you don't need to start with a 3,000 word article, but start with documenting your journey. You can use your smartphone and you work yourself up. The art of copywriting and storytelling is skill. I was terrible at it 6 years ago, but I decided to create one piece of content every day. It doesn't matter if it's holiday, if I'm sick, if I'm hungover, if I'm whatever, but just create that piece of content. And That will make a big difference. And you can use your content to tell your story, to build relationships, and that will make a difference. Have a look at how many people we have online on LinkedIn, and have a look at how many of them create content, and then have a look at how many of them create value-adding content, and then have a look at those who create content, value-adding content, and don't take themselves too seriously and really want to help other people in the process. It's what? Less than 1%. So this is your chance. But the majority of people will not make it because they're chicken, as you said, because they're so afraid what other people might think or what a hater will do or whatever, you know? You can delete and block the hater. And a hater, like the likeliness that somebody really does that is, again, most probably 0.5%. So don't wait, and start with documenting your journey today.
I love this. Don't wait. Gain clarity. Start documenting your journey. Be brave. Start posting, not just liking, right? and liking and lurking, but stepping out and show who you are and embrace who you are. Love yourself. You are unique. You're valuable. Your expertise, your knowledge is so valuable. Thank you so much, Natalia. It has been so much fun today to have you on the show. Thank you for your time. Thank you for showing your wisdom with us. I'm just so thrilled. Appreciate your time today.
Thanks so much.
Wow, this has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed it. I hope that it delivered a ton of value to you, a lot of actionable tips, a lot of actionable nuggets and advice. We've learned so much from Natalia. Go follow her. You will find her content really engaging, really fun, smart tips, and educational. Much more importantly, entertainable. She's so much fun, as you have just seen her. She just makes me chuckle all the time laughing. But it is true. It is true. We all learn. We are so much more relatable when we laugh, when we have fun. I love her pictures and unicorn. So follow Natalia. Reach out to her if you do want to elevate your brand. She's a phenomenal coach. She can walk you through the process. And I believe that when we share who we truly are, we embrace ourselves, we start empowering ourselves from within. We start owning our life, owning our career, owning what we want to create. And then we can encourage and inspire others to do so. And when we all grow together and develop together, we can change this world to be a better place. And I cannot wait to see you again, my friends. Have a great day.